Fight Fiend Forecast. I am Joseph, the host, and I'm back for Dana White's Contender Series week number 5. Back after a couple underdogs winning. One of the biggest underdogs of the year of Dana White's Contender Series history. And you know what? I broke that fight down longer than the fight even was. The fight was probably a minute, 2 minutes long. I broke that fight down way too long. So on this video, I'm not taking too long to break down these fights. Week number 5. It's the contenders. Some of these fighters have fought some pretty sketchy competition. Pretty suspect. So I'm going to go through it quick. I'm going to make it fast. Now, first fight of the night, we got another women's fight. And she's Canadian. And I don't even know the odds yet before I break down each and every fight. I don't know the odds. I just made my predictions, did my research, and now I might find out some of the odds as I break down these fights for everybody. But in this first fight of the night, I'm probably taking the women's underdog. It might be the Canadian. I really don't want to take the Canadian. I might even... no, I can't do it. I might take the reverse psychology route for me. The reverse psychology is basically going against the Canadian. It would have worked against Kyle Nelson. It would have worked against Shannon Clark. It's profitable going against the Canadian fighters. I'm starting to question if I'm Canadian. Or maybe I can get a change of citizenship. Pretty embarrassing. Well, I did it to myself, and I got caught taking some big chalky favorites that were frauds. They were very fraudulent, and I went 20 units down. This first fight, I am not betting if I am taking this Canadian women's fighter here. I didn't even say who they were because I don't know how important this fight is to me. Honestly, we got Corinne Laframboise from Canada, Montreal, Quebec. You see her with a 2-year layoff. She had a kid. But before that layoff, she won by submission against a 7-0 opponent. She's fought the higher caliber competition. She knocked out a girl 3-1. Her loss was to Manon Fiorot. She has a better loss than this fighter. That's 7-2 from Brazil, Nicolle Caliari. Calamari. And I don't even know if I pronounced her name correct. Because I don't care about this fight. I'm not looking to bet this fight. It's a low-level women's fight. Both girls have fought some pretty low-caliber competition. Especially the Brazilian, though. She beat a girl 0-3 two years ago. And then beat a girl 8-2, which is actually a common opponent of these two fighters. She submitted her in the second round. And Laframboise submitted her in the very first round. That was actually her last fight 2 years ago where she looked very good. She's training at Brazilian top team Canada. Charles Jourdain's there. Air Jourdain. And she's looking pretty good at training. In camp. She's looking alright. She just had a baby. She's very motivated. She's looking pretty good in the gym. I think she's going to get it done. It's a low confidence pick. I'm not betting it. These are my predictions. I should probably do the reverse psychology. I want to switch my pick, but I'm not switching my pick. I'm locked in now. I'm taking the Canadian. It's probably not going to look good. I don't advise you to tail along with this pick. Do not bet it. It's probably going over 1.5. But with these women's fights on the Contender Series, they could be over in a minute. Even if they're a 7-1 favorite, we got to be careful with these favorites. Clearly, I got caught, and now I'm going to be careful. Hopefully, the Canadian is an underdog, and she gets it done here. Now, the women's underdogs have been winning on the Contender Series, 1-for-1 so far, so hopefully it continues. It could go 2-for-2, but Laframboise could be the favorite in this fight. I really have no clue. I didn't look at the odds. We're moving on to the next fight here, where I really don't know the odds either, and this fight is probably 50-50. This is the most entertaining fight on week 5. I can't wait for this one. It's my medium confidence pick of the night. It's pretty well a low confidence pick because how close this fight is. Two guys that love to get the knockout. They're going to be throwing hands out of the gate. This should be a first round finish. With both of these styles clashing, the better man will win in round 1, and he'll land the better shot, land clean, and knock his opponent out, as long as both guys aren't being, I don't know how I can say this respectfully, but yeah, hopefully they're not too hesitant in the first round. Dana White's there. We've been seeing a lot of finishes on the Contender Series. Seen a couple decisions last week, but in this fight, like the clash of styles, I really see that first round finish for the better fighter. And in this fight, we're talking about Otar Tanzilov, who's training with Merab at Syndicate MMA a little bit, training with his Georgian buddy. He's looking all right in film as well, in the training room. But if they're looking good, in camp, I don't know if it's going to translate in the fight, because this guy's fighting a tough opponent. Josias Musasa, who has a bunch of knockouts. A lot in round 1. He has power. Potent power. He could be the next African UFC fighter that makes a name for himself, honestly. He could be the next big thing out of Africa. Now, a lot of people are saying that, but I'm not picking him to win. I'm not picking him to win. He has fought some fraudulent, suspect opponents. 6-1, 5-1 in his last fight, but those guys aren't the highest caliber. The promotion isn't that high caliber either. He knocked out a guy 1-0 6 months ago. Before that, he's been very active. Very active. 0-1 knockout win before that. Only 1 year ago, and a debuting fighter a year and 5 months ago. Yeah, he's been active in his last 3 fights, beating guys 5-1 and 6-1, but a little bit padded records. Before those 2 guys, he's fought 0-1, a debuting fighter, and a guy 1-0. He could be the next big thing from Africa. He could get the knockout in round 1. He could have that potent power and show everybody he's that guy. He's that guy. I just don't think he is. Now, it's tough to trust Merab training camp, but this guy, Otar Tanzilov, he has power. His counter-striking is really good. I think he'll get the counter shot in this fight to floor the African, who has never lost. Both these guys are undefeated. That is why it is the fight of the night. 2 undefeated fighters going to work, looking for the KO. I'm super entertained. But I got to go against the underdog, the African, Musasa. His name sounds pretty cool. I want to pick him to win. He has that potent power that can finish the fight in the first round, in the second round. But I don't trust the caliber of competition that he's been fighting. Honestly, this other guy, 9-0, Otar, training with Merab has fought some pretty high caliber guys. Really not the highest caliber, so he could get knocked out. He's never lost, but 8-1 by a decision in his last fight. He has the ability to mix it up, go 3 rounds, get the takedowns, win this fight. But before his last fight, a year and 7 months ago, he had a left hook knockout punch to a guy 9-4, a little bit more experience than 1-0, 0-1. And he also had a jumping switch kick knockout. Now, that was a very impressive knockout. The guy was 2-3, horrible level of competition, but jumping switch kick, that was impressive as hell. Now, he throws this kick very often. Hopefully he throws it in this fight. It might even land against Musasa. Musasa, I think, has fought some pretty low caliber guys. Now, the Georgian hasn't fought much higher level guys, but they're more experienced. He's looking pretty good in there as well. He doesn't have maybe potent power, but his counter-striking, his jumping switch kick is pretty phenomenal. I'm actually going to pick him to win this fight with medium confidence, 69% forecasted percentage here, and it's going to be a knockout in the very first round. But if Musasa wins in round 1, I'm not going to be too upset. The KO Wizard could be the guy out of Africa to be the next big thing. It wouldn't shock me. I'd be looking to bet maybe the under 2.5 in this fight. I definitely sense a finish, and that'll be the forecast in this one here. The next fight, we're seeing a guy come back to the Contender Series for his second time. And he beat Pereira, and then he lost to Pereira, got slept. He's 7-3 pro career, and he's not that good, honestly. Yousri Belgaroui against Taiga Iwasaki. Iwasaki. Where did they find this guy here? 9-1. Fought 11 months ago against the guy 7-6. Beat him by a decision. Lost his fight before that to an undefeated fighter in the first round, second round, arm lock, submission, choke there. He's won every other fight other than that fight 2 fights ago, a year and 8 months ago, to the undefeated 10-0 fighter. But his wins, just beat a 7-6 opponent by a decision, and before that, he knocked out a guy fucking 1-4. 0-0, beat this guy by a decision 2 years ago. 1-5, knocked this guy out with a head kick. Where did they find him? And why is he fighting on Dana White's Contender Series? That's a big question. I don't even know if this fight will last long. This Japanese fighter is looking like the most fraudulent fighter I've ever seen on the Contender Series. But I said that about Dubin last week, and she got the first round knockout, so I don't really have confidence in Yousri Belgaroui, but in this fight, the babyface assassin is getting my confidence at -400. A very wide line again. Now, I'm not even thinking about putting 20 units on this motherfucker. Not even thinking about it. No big favorites are getting my money this week. I have 79% confidence, high confidence, in Belgaroui in this fight. He's a much better kickboxer. He's fighting a fraudulent fighter where I don't even know where they found him. Right? He just beat a guy 7-6 by a decision, knocked out a guy 1-4 and 1-5. This guy is terrible. Shitty. Worst Asian prospect I've ever seen in my entire life. He's 27. He should not be on the Contender Series. Take Yousri Belgaroui. He should win this fight at -400. He's safe for parlays. He has a 4-inch height advantage. He's going to have a reach advantage. 89% of people in Tapology are picking him to win by KO. He likely gets that knockout. This fight should not last long. He won his last fight, Belgaroui, here by a decision. 11-3 opponent. But he knocked out a 10-4 opponent before that. He did not get the win on the Contender Series, but he was getting the knockouts before that. 5-6 opponent. 10-11. Now, this guy is not going far in the UFC. Don't get me wrong. Just because this is a high confidence pick, I don't have confidence in him if he gets a contract. But I think he'll finish this fight, get the knockout, get into the UFC with Potin, and we'll see what he can do there. I don't have confidence if he does get that contract. Where the fuck did they find Ayahuasca here? Ayahuasca. They must have been smoking that when they found him. Hopefully he doesn't do anything crazy in this fight. And next up, we got the co-main event, Cody Steele and Quemuel Ottoni. Shohei Ohtani's young brother. No, this guy's Brazilian. He's not Japanese as well. Ottoni has beat Pereira. Pereira's one of 2 losses by submission. Yeah, he did that. His 3rd or 4th ever pro fight, he beat Pereira in Pereira's pro debut. Good for him. Great win. But you haven't fought in nearly 3 years. And you submitted a guy 9-4. 9-2 decision win. 4-4 knockout win 3 years ago. This Ottoni guy, other than his Poton win, in his 3rd or 4th pro fight, he's beat nobody. He's not that good. And he's going to have a tough time with an undefeated Cody Steele, who is a great wrestler, high-pressure fighter, has a bunch of punches and bunches, and can land the KO punch. He did it in his last fight 4 months ago, 13-5 opponent. Knocked out a guy 2-1 before that. And, knocked out a guy 12-6. Had a decision win against a guy 4-2. Submitted a guy debuting. I mean, not the highest caliber competition. Not too bad. 12-6 knockout win 11 months ago. 13-5 knockout win 4 months ago. He's been active. He's been getting the knockout win. His pressure, punches and bunches, will win him this fight. He's a high-pressure guy. I can trust him to push forward and fight for my money. He is the 2nd highest, most confidence pick for me on the entire event on Tuesday here. Cody Steele, probably going to be a bet here. I think he's getting the knockout maybe 1st, 2nd round, and it's 86% forecasted percentage for me. That's just my forecasted percentage. That's not an official percentage. That is what I am doing. Whatever you're doing is completely fine, but I think 86% confidence in Cody Steele to win is very accurate. He should win this fight with ease. There's not a high chance that Ottoni can win this fight, even though he beat Pereira. I don't think there's a very high chance he can win. Hasn't fought in 2 years. He's a pretty slow, stiff fighter in there. And not to mention, he's 31. Dana does not like these 31-year-olds. He doesn't like to sign them either. He hasn't fought the highest caliber guys. Cody Steele is well-rounded everywhere to win this fight. Probably the highest confidence pick on the entire event. Unless you're thinking this last fight of the night is your highest confidence pick. We have Navajo Sterling and Phillip Latu. Latu has fought some pretty low caliber guys again. Like, this is a common theme this week. Very low caliber competition for the fighters fighting on Dana White's Contender Series Week 5. It's pretty bad. This guy just knocked out a guy 10-6. Dylan Potter. Belongs in a porter potty. Knocked out a guy 6-3. And 3-2. And 3-4. Like, very low caliber. He actually lost 2 years ago to a guy debuting by submission. So, Sterling, training at City Kickboxing, being probably a favorite in this fight, I would think. Probably 3-1. He's probably a 3-1 favorite in this fight. Don't know the odds yet. I really don't know the odds on any fight. But I will look eventually at the odds. And I think at 4-0, undefeated, they want Navajo Sterling to get into the UFC. Training at City Kickboxing. He's a big fighter too for this weight class. He has an 82-inch reach. He's going to have a 3-inch, 4-inch reach advantage in this fight. He's going to be the taller fighter. He's going to be good at range. And he likes to pick his shots. He's smart when he picks his shots. Picks his punches wisely. I think he'll find a power shot to win this fight. Even a counter shot if Phillip Latu decides to be a lunatic and just walk forward and walk right into a punch, get knocked out. Because he's not the guy that's going to win in the main event at Dana White's Contender Series, week number 5 on Tuesday. I'm telling you right now, Sterling is a lock of the week. He's a bet of the week, along with Cody Steele. Those two fighters there are my two most confident picks this week. And last week, I lost 20 units on some chalky favorites. Not worth betting at those odds. It's worth taking the underdog at those odds. When you know the odds are steamed, they're too wide, you should have just took the underdog. Knowing there was such little tape and information on Dubin. Probably should have bet her in the first round by KO. But we learn from the losses and we move on. I am motivated to make my money back. I'm not probably going to do it on Tuesday night, but I gave you a couple picks. Navajo Sterling, Cody Steele, 2 high confidence picks. Along with Yousri Belgaroui, he's a high confidence pick, and I actually have 4 fighters to win by knockout. So right now, I gave you all the picks. I'll give you a full card parlay right here, right now. I'm not sure the odds on these yet. No odds have opened up for the props, but we will see what the odds are when they open up. Hopefully it's juicy and everybody can get paid here if each and every fight prediction hits, because this is the full card parlay. First off, we're going to take Laframboise decision. Next fight, we're taking Tanzilov, KO. Belgaroui, KO. Steele, KO. Sterling, KO. And that's your 5-leg parlay for week 5. Next bet, you're looking for a very safe bet and go super heavy on, like I tried to do last week. Probably just take Navajo Sterling and Cody Steele for the win. If you want to juice it up as well, go a little lighter on this one. Take them both by KO. I think they're both getting the knockout as well. Those are my forecasted predictions for week number 5. Added in a couple bets here at the end. Gave you each and every fight prediction with the method of victory, confidence level this week. Sorry for the 20-unit loss last week. I went way too heavy on those favorites. Made a big mistake, but we're going to learn from that, and we're going to make the money back. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Everybody that decided to come back this week, at least. And yeah, smash the like button if you want, and suplex the subscribe button if you unsubscribed. I really appreciate that. We're going to make that money back, I promise you. But this might not be the night to do it. We got Noche UFC 306 coming up this week, and I will have predictions out very soon. So stay tuned, stay activated, stay motivated. Let's get this motherfucking money.
This is not over.